The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory be to you, O Lord.
Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon the earth. I have come to bring not peace, but the sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And one's enemy will be those of his household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son and daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me. Whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever receives a righteous man because he is righteous will receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because he is a disciple, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward." When Jesus finished giving these commands to his 12 disciples, he went away from that place to teach and to preach in their towns. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Remember the instruction of Jesus that we must take up our cross every day, and follow him. What is the cross? Well, he spells out for us today in detail what the cross may sometimes mean. It will cause problems, jealousies, alienation, breakup of families, and so on. Sometimes that is what happens. And we all know from our own personal experience, people and families where that has happened. Sometimes it happens because the son decides he's going to marry a girl from Colombia or from Egypt, where the deacon's ancestors come from. Or in fact, he may decide to marry a girl from Ireland. And the family are not very happy about it. But he's determined. This is the girl I want to marry, to spend the rest of my life with. And he goes ahead and does it. Does it bring about friction in the family? Alienation? It certainly does. But God's must be first. That's the point of the gospel. In all our relationship with children, parents, family, whatever, God comes first. I had a very good friend from Mexico, Father Abel Barajas, who has helped out here a couple of times. And he was pastor at in Fort Lauderdale, St. Clement. And he asked me to help him out there, so I used to help him out there. And there was a deacon there from Brooklyn, and this was his story. He got a job as a counselor. He was Jewish. He got a job as a counselor in the Archdiocese of Brooklyn. And at the time, there was an Irish girl there. Her name was Conlon. So eventually, they fell in love. They got married. His parents told him that if he went ahead with this marriage, they would never see him again. He married. He never saw his parents again. He lived in Fort Lauderdale. He had children. They never saw their grandchildren. He decided to become a deacon in the church like Deacon Casey. He became a deacon in the church, and I knew him very, very, very well. He died 2 years ago. Would you see what happened? The alienation, the fragmentation between family and friends. And it was increased, of course, by the fact he became a Roman Catholic. That didn't help either. Then he became a deacon in the Catholic Church and served the church very well at St. Clement's. So the words of the Lord are not just fiction. It happens probably on a daily basis somewhere in the world. But the bottom line is this: the Lord comes first in all our relationships. That's the bottom line. Today is also the feast of Saint Benedict. Saint Benedict was born roughly around the year 500 or 480, something around that. And he was living in a community, but he wasn't happy there. So he decided to go out on his own, and he went to the town of Subiaco. And there he lived a very quiet, solitary life. Some of his friends followed him there. And it was there that he came up with the idea of writing the rules of Saint Benedict, famous rules and regulations. And the bottom line was, it was a matter of work and prayer. Eventually, he formed his own community, famous Benedictine order to this day. In fact, I think this is one of the few dioceses where there isn't a Benedictine community. In my home diocese, they are there. They run high schools, very successful. He was not a priest, by the way. He was not a priest. Today, of course, the Benedictine community are spread all over the world, especially in Central Europe, in Germany, for example. And then he moved to a town called Monte Cassino, Casenario, but now it's called Monte Cassino. And there, of course, is the famous monastery to this day. I've never been there, but I know people who have been there. And so this good man followed the will of the Lord, and today he is a saint in heaven, and his order continues to teach and to fly and to nourish God's holy people. A great, great, great saint, Saint Benedict. The two major functions of the society, work and prayer. Work and pray. They go hand in hand.